The young man on the left is Emmett Shutes, 33 years old, from State College, Pennsylvania. And if he has a Nittany Lion heart, and he better have it, going against Earl Anthony, he'll do all right.
Earl Anthony, who was the lower of the two finishers, Earl finishing third in the tournament, Emmett Shutes finishing second. Shutes has decided to let Anthony start the match.
And starting right where he left off, Earl Anthony.
And Chris, the reason maybe Emmett, and probably the most likely, wants him to start, he noticed that Earl had trouble on the right-hand lane in the Roth match and was excellent on the left-hand lane, so he wants Earl under the pressure to finish on his tough lane.
A high hit leaving the 4-7.
Chris, he has a very short approach. Actually, he calls it a 3.5 step approach, and he credits a young man named Bill Taylor for helping him out and has thought as improvement in his game. He has full extension there, but he did top that ball a little bit when you see the hand go over and the thumb straight down. Throws a full spinner, as you can see, sliding down the line.
All right. If you're watching in color and vivid blue, he's there on the approach right now. Remember, this is a live telecast. Has been for years, as we're well into our 18th consecutive year right here on ABC. From behind the scenes, backstage. Look at all that action.
Those are the men that fix the machines if we have a problem, as we did in the Roth match.
So a high hit leaves the 4 on the left lane for this 150-pounder.
Chris, he's a rabbit on a tour. He's one of the fellows that has to qualify before the tournament. That means he didn't finish in the top 72 players last year, and he has to win a PBA tournament to get out of the rabbit squad this year. So this means a little more to him than probably any of the other 2 players left in the finals.
So the young man who has a degree in marketing from Penn State University marks with a spare in the second frame. Tell us about rabbits.
Well, Chris, that's the players. There's so many players that want to enter a PBA tournament now that we have to have a pro tournament qualifier before the tournament.
Well, that's sort of part of what Nelson Burton's pro bowler's tip will be today, making spares on the right side of the lane. But for Earl Anthony, we have a little 7-pin on the left that he's faced with.
Well, he has the 1-3-6-7, which is the washout for the left-hander, and actually Earl threw that ball pretty good. He's made an adjustment on the lane for those early splits, and the ball just didn't finish.
Well, 2 out of 3 in converting splits today. Pretty good average, and Anthony, as a result, trails by 11 pins now. So leaving a 6-pin on the right lane, and that brings up a question that many youngsters often ask me, as they do in other sports. Do bowling professionals buy the bowling balls?
Well, Earl Anthony has his own ball on the market, Chris, but most of the players buy their own equipment, and they experiment, and they try to get basically the one that feels real good and they have confidence in. Many players will stay with it a long period of time.
College, Pennsylvania gets his first strike. Earl Anthony a moment ago was scuffing up the sole on his left shoe. Took out his pocket knife and did a little retread job.
Well, that's the sole he drives off of, Chris. And Mark Roth said he had a little trouble with the approaches being slightly slippery, and I guess Earl Anthony is too. Emmett Shutes with a chance to extend his lead to 21.
And he does, wiping them out on the left lane. Emmett Shutes. Paul Moser, bowling out of Somerset, Massachusetts, waiting in the wings, practicing. He will meet the winner of this match for $21,000. Live, Earl Anthony. So with a spare up now, Anthony with a strike in the 4th frame. And if you just joined us, our first match, Mark Roth defeated Ernie Schlegel, 235 to 213. In the second match, Anthony, with 8 strikes, defeated Mark Roth, 237 to 224. One of the real interesting ones, Bo, in the 18 years that we've covered your professional bowlers tour telecasts.
You've got it, and then Earl here must hit on his good lane to stay real close to Emmett Shutes.
And he does that. Earl Anthony has doubled, and now Shutes' lead is 11 pins, but he has a double working, and he'll be shooting in the 5th frame.
Here's that low trajectory. You saw Earl Anthony's hand right on the side of the ball, that nice smooth rotation. Look at how smoothly his ball rolls down the lane, right into the 1-2 pocket. That's his favorite lane, and he hasn't made a bad shot on it yet today.
So it's a 3-bagger for the 5'7" bowler from State College, Pennsylvania, and he works out at Penn State. He's worked out with Franco Harris, Lydell Mitchell.
Well, he graduated from there, Chris, and he works out there. But the man who's reacting most to the Emmett Shutes strikes is Earl Anthony. Emmett Shutes has had 3 tremendous breaks in a row. He tripped a 2-pin in the 3rd, carried a wall shot in the 4th, and carried the bowler's friend a nosedive in the 5th, and he leads by 21.
And he gets another one for a 4-bagger here in the semifinal match. The winner to meet is Peggy Shutes. Emmett's wife likes what she sees.
And that was his best shot. He, as all good pros do, he took advantage of the great break and put the pressure back on Earl Anthony.
Okay, Anthony now shooting in the 6th frame. He has a double up.
And still fishing a little bit for a line on this lane.
Ten-pin, he'll take it.
Normally he'll carry that strike every time.
All right, we're at the Showboat Lanes, our live coverage of our 2nd stop on a tour of 16 cities here in the United States. So everybody needs a little break, and Anthony gets one in the 7th with a strike, but he's still trailing 32 pins.
Earl with just a little less speed on these on the permalane, Chris. If you throw it a little too slow, it'll break a little too much. If you throw it a little too hard, as you see that hit there, it's the same as the trip 4 for the right hand. 3-pin going to the sideboard, tipping out the 6 and 10.
Looking for 5 in a row. Yeah, boy, has action.
A repertoire of strikes. He's sending Earl Anthony to the coolers. Earl Anthony opens his hands up. Here we go. Here is the old trip 4. Now watch the 2-pin. Just so you go to the sideboard, catch the 4-pin, 7-pin, and into the 4. What a great break.
Talk about a contrast in styles. Like in golf, Nicklaus plays it different than Hale Irwin or Arnold Palmer, and they all get it done, don't they?
He can really close the door on Earl right here with another good strike. He's wide on that one, though.
Unbelievable. No. Now, you could replay that 6-bagger, and that would be a study in something. We'd have to ask Frank Esposito.
Watch this shot, Chris. It slides out. It's a little wide. The head pin's going to the sideboard, and there's a 2-4-5 standing, and what? Just barely nicks it. Look at this. The head pin does all the damage. Isn't that something? I've seen some lucky strings, and you have too. But yeah. I know he's trying for him, but he knows it too. Very fortunate.
Going for a double. Leaving the 6 in the right lane.
Earl is such really a happy-go-lucky guy, Chris. I know he doesn't want to lose $10,000 or so on one break, but he can hardly keep from laughing himself. All the breaks have gone Emmett's way so far, and he's going to probably need him again in the last match against Moser, because he definitely has Anthony in trouble.
So the all-time leader in titles and career earnings, Earl Anthony, trails by 52, and this is the way they finished in the top 24.
Palmer, our statistician, right up there. Doug Heim coming back bowling well. Joseph Grosskind, possible Rookie of the Year. Eddie Ressler, bowling great. Boise Huber, one of my buddies from St. Louis. Jay Robinson, whose wife won the AMF Grand Prix. And GIL SLIKER.
Well, Earl has seen a little of everything today. Now the 4, 7, 10.
10-1. He'll give it a go.
So it's an open frame for Earl Anthony in the 9th. And you know, Bo, if the people in the Keno room and at the tables at the card games have the luck that this young man is having on the bowling lanes, somebody's going to leave here with a ton.
Well, Chris, he's got the match well in hand. He's 68 pins ahead. But, you know, Chris, they bowled all week. This is our long format. And the players started back in on Sunday and Monday.
10? Yes, all 10 pins for his 7th strike.
Earl turned to Joe Kelly and says, boy, it's about time he threw a good one.